My name is EVOO and welcome to Cooking with the Koyas. We are back in the kitchen today, and what a fantastic place to be. Today folks, we're going to make a very quick, simple, but absolutely delicious dish that my friend Margaret introduced to me probably about 20 to 30 years ago, and we've been enjoying it ever since. Let's get started. So in order to maximize time, we're going to put a pot of water, get the water on for our pasta, and while the water is starting to heat up, we're going to start our sauce for our pasta. And today we're going to make a penne pasta. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to say 2 tablespoons. And for this recipe, we are going to make a sauce with Italian sausage. Now this is about 1 1/4 pounds, so for this recipe I would recommend at least 1 pound up to 1.5 pounds. And this of course is my own homemade sausage, but any Italian sausage will do. And if you like hot Italian sausage, use hot. If you like mild, use mild. And if you're interested in making sausage, I'll put a link below because I have a video that will show you exactly my recipe and a lot of tips on sausage making. Okay, so first thing we have to do with our sausage is remove it from the casing. All that work to put it in the casing, and now it's coming out. So just to open up the casing with a pair of scissors, and then quite simply remove all that beautiful sausage meat from the casing. Perfect. We'll scrape that a little more, make sure we get all the meat. There we go, and the casing can now be discarded. All right. I'm going to wash up, be right back. So let's fire up our stove. Let's put it on, we'll put it on medium, high. And what you want to do at this point, folks, is just break up the sausage. Because this is going to be, it's going to be like a ragu sauce. It's going to be a meat sauce. And you want the sausage to be small pieces so that it will spread out evenly in your sauce and on your plate. And today we're going to use a penne pasta, and the penne pasta is absolutely perfect for this particular recipe. Okay, I can see our water is already almost boiling, so I'm going to just turn that down and keep it warm. And that's the beauty of this recipe. Get your water going, the sauce comes together quickly, next thing you know, you're having dinner. Within a half hour, for sure, you're having dinner. Okay, maybe I'll put the stove on a little higher just to get this sausage meat heated up. Look at this. Isn't that a beautiful sausage though, folks? Absolutely beautiful. And this particular one is slightly hot. I'm going to say medium hot, which is going to add a nice little zing to our pasta. Okay, we're starting to get some sizzle. That's what we want to do. At this point, all we want to do is brown our sausage. So we want it browned, and actually, I mean, we're going to cook the sausage with some tomato sauce, but you basically want this sausage to be cooked. So, and I should have mentioned, of course, you probably know, for those of you who have tuned in, I of course used extra virgin olive oil when I started. Yes, it is starting to brown up very, very nicely. That's what we want right there. Lots of flavor too coming out of the sausage, a lot of oils coming out. That's going to help flavor our sauce very, very nicely. Okay, so while that's cooking, what we're going to add is 1 can of diced tomatoes. Now you could use, this happens to be herbs and spices, that's what I had in my pantry, but you don't need it with herbs and spices because you got all the spices you want right there in your sausage meat. But 1 can, it's 28 ounces, 796 milliliters, and all we're going to do here, now that that sausage is almost cooked, I'm going to give it another 30 seconds. So we're going to take those tomatoes and we're going to add that whole can into this frying pan. And we're going to let them cook together. And that's basically it. We're not going to add any salt to our sauce because the sausage is salted. But again, you can add salt to taste. I typically find I don't need any. Okay. In goes our tomato. Right out of the can and into the pan. And if there's any residual tomatoes in there, get them all out. Okay, now, quite simply, we are going to marry these two ingredients together. So, mix them so that they incorporate nicely together. And you're going to see there's a little bit of water there, of course, from the jar of tomatoes, from the can. And that's okay, because some of that will also evaporate. Okay. I'm going to keep mixing this until I'm happy with the consistency of the sauce. Now, if you don't have chopped tomatoes, if I didn't mention it, you can use whole tomato and just chop them up. I like to use the whole or chopped tomato because it gives the better tomato flavor. Now, if you don't have either of those and you happen to have a jar of passata, well, by all means, use the passata. The key is to use the tomatoes, and the benefit of using a chunk tomato is the freshness of the tomato coming through in the sauce. Okay, so that's now cooking. We're going to let that cook, and that'll be done by the time our pasta's done. So let's get our water salted, and let's get our pasta in the water. First things first, we need to salt our pasta water. General rule of thumb, 10 grams of salt per liter of water, which is about 2.5 teaspoons. Slowly put it in the first time, let it come to a vigorous boil. If you put it all in at once, you might have an overspill. And there we go. Just give that a stir, and you always want to make sure your water is boiling before you add your salt. It's a lot easier on your cookware. Okay, so today, and try to find a good Italian pasta, one imported from Italy. They usually are the best. And I'm going to make 200 grams of pasta. Dinner is for just Laura and I already know basically 100 grams per person. But I know Laura won't eat her 100-gram portion. But I'll still make 200 grams regardless. And okay, 200 right on. Okay, so pasta goes in, and according to the package, it is 11 minutes of cook time till al dente. So we're going to put the lid back on, and the 11 minutes does not start counting until it comes back to a boil. So I'm going to bring it back to a boil, then we're going to start the 11 minutes. And if I look over to our sauce, it's cooking very, very nicely. I'm going to actually give it a stir, and let's lower the heat to medium from medium high. Okay, and our pasta water is now at a boil, so I'm going to start the 11-minute timer going right now. And while that pasta is cooking, you could once in a while just give this sauce a stir. And of course, give a stir every so often to your pasta as well. We are multitasking today, folks. Multitasking. Okay, give it a little stir here. Oh, this sauce is smelling really good. That sausage, oh my goodness. Continuing with our multitasking, everything is cooking nicely. What I have here is I have 150 grams of grated mozzarella. And I'm going to put the grated mozzarella in our pasta bowl, a little bit on the bottom, and I'm going to put the rest on the top. Now, for this dish, you could use 100 grams of mozzarella up to 150. I like a little more cheese, so I went with the 150. But otherwise, 100 grams would have been fine. General rule of thumb, 50 grams per person. In my case, it's a little bit more. Okay, so that mozzarella is going to go in there. And our next ingredient that we're going to add is spinach. So what we're going to do here is, when the pasta is ready to be removed from the water, we're going to add spinach to that water for seconds, and then take it all out together. And then at the end, we're going to toss together our pasta with our spinach and our mozzarella and that beautiful, beautiful sauce. Okay, let's give another stir. Do a little more multitasking here. Again, this is all being done while things are being cooked. So, like I said, you could have this dish ready easily within a half hour. And I should also mention the amount of spinach I'm using is just one of these small containers. It's 5 ounces or 142 grams of spinach. That's what we're going to use today. So I actually have let this pasta go a couple minutes past its cook time because 11 minutes was a little too al dente for me, and I like it just a little bit more cooked, so I let it go an extra couple minutes. So that means we could now add our spinach and start to bring this pasta together. So spinach goes in. And all you do here is just give it a quick stir. That's it. All right. The heat can go off. Let's take out our pasta and our spinach. This is a really colorful dish between the red sauce and the green spinach and the white pasta. I guess you could say it's Italian flag right there, green, white, and red. Okay, so now of course you could, I could have dumped this out as well, but I'm going to scoop it all out little by each here. Okay. Our sauce is still simmering, and I'm not sure if it's in the picture or not, but if you can see it, you'll notice that a lot of the liquid has now evaporated, and we have a thicker sauce. Okay, remove the rest of this pasta. So I'd like to mention also that sauce that we made is actually enough for 4 people. So if you were cooking for 4, the only difference I would do is I would use 400 grams of pasta, and I would keep the sauce the same, and I would keep the spinach the same, and of course you'd add a little more mozzarella, but other than that, you'd be good to go. A nice little dinner party for 4 people, a beautiful dish like this, no one would be disappointed. So the noodle goes in, the rest of our mozzarella goes on top, and now it's time to marry this all together with that beautiful sauce that we've made. Oh yeah, this is going to be really nice. Like I say, that's a lot of sauce. I'm going to use it all because I absolutely love this sausage meat and the flavors that it gives to the pasta between the sausage meat and the tomato. It's unbelievable. This, folks, is a fantastic, fantastic meal. Okay, so at this point, all you do is toss it all together. Get all those beautiful flavors mixed in with the pasta. Now, you can, of course, serve this as well with grated Parmigiano cheese, but you don't need it because there's lots of mozzarella cheese in here. Oh, look at that. I love that stringiness in the mozzarella. Okay. There we go. Oh my goodness. You know what I'm anxious to do, folks? I got my fork handy. We're going to give this a taste test. Oh my goodness. Just take a look at this beautiful pasta dish right here. Oh my goodness. The flavors on this pasta with that sausage. Where's my fork? I'm telling you right now. A little bit of cheese, some pasta, some sausage. Now that right there is full of flavor. Some spinach. Delicious. Dinner in less than a half an hour, full of flavor. Make sure you have good Italian sausage. You will not be disappointed. Quick, simple, delicious dish. I hope you give it a try. Thanks for joining me today on Cooking with the Koyas. And as always, until next time, buon appetito. Time to call Laura. Time for dinner. Oh my goodness. Laura, it's dinner.